Following the striking inquiry of Psalm chapter 2, verse 1 about why nations are embroiled in turmoil, verse 2 extends the narrative by illuminating the collaborative stance of earthly powers against divine dominion. Psalm chapter 2, verse 2 states, "The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying." This verse expands upon the emotional and chaotic energy of the previous verse, presenting a clearer picture of organized opposition against God and his anointed ruler. In delving deeper into the language and implications of this verse, we find the kings of the earth and the rulers are not merely figures of speech, but represent the highest human authorities. These leaders, whether monarchs or elected officials, symbolize the pinnacle of human power and authority within their respective realms. The phrase, "set themselves," suggests a deliberate positioning, a firm and resolute stance taken to confront and oppose. It's a posture of defiance, indicating preparation for a battle of wills. Their action is not just a spontaneous outburst of rebellion, but a calculated move, a strategic alignment against a perceived common adversary. Moreover, take counsel together points to a collaborative effort. This is not isolated resistance by scattered regimes, it's a united front. The rulers convene, share strategies, and form alliances. This coalition against divine authority indicates a significant level of agreement and shared purpose among the world's rulers. Their unity and defiance amplifies the challenge to divine authority, showcasing a rare moment of human consensus, albeit in opposition to God. The targets of this unified stand are specifically identified as the Lord and against his anointed. Here, the Lord refers to God Almighty, the sovereign creator of the universe, and his anointed traditionally refers to the king in a Hebrew context, implying a divinely chosen leader. In the broader scriptural narrative, this anointed one is seen as a messianic figure, ultimately identified as Jesus Christ, who comes to fulfill the roles of prophet, priest, and king, roles that intertwine the divine with the earthly governance. This verse is profoundly significant as it encapsulates the central conflict of the entire psalm, the struggle between divine authority and human authority. The earth's most powerful leaders are not merely rejecting a higher moral code, they are directly opposing God's specific ordained order. This opposition is both political and spiritual, merging the earthly with the eternal, the temporal powers with the everlasting kingdom. The act of setting themselves against the Lord is tantamount to challenging the very foundation of existence and the ultimate rule over creation. It mirrors many historical moments where rulers and empires have attempted to elevate themselves not just above other nations, but in place of divine rule. From the builders of the Tower of Babel attempting to make a name for themselves to the Roman emperors demanding worship as gods, human history is replete with attempts to usurp divine prerogatives. This confrontation also reveals a deeper theological and existential angst. It is the human condition in its most stark manifestation, autonomy versus submission. The natural human inclination seeks autonomy, desires self-rule, and cherishes independence. Submission to a higher authority, especially one that demands moral and ethical absolutes, is often met with resistance. This resistance can manifest collectively in the form of societal or cultural movements away from traditional Christian values or individually in personal rejection of spiritual truths. As we consider the implications of this stance against God and his anointed, it prompts reflection on the consequences of such opposition. Throughout the scriptures and history, those who oppose God's ordained plans often find themselves not only on the wrong side of his will, but also facing inevitable defeat and despair. The divine narrative consistently shows that God's purposes prevail despite human resistance. Therefore, this verse not only sets the stage for the divine response that follows in the psalm, but also serves as a cautionary tale for all who would consider standing against the irrevocable decrees of God. It calls for a humble acknowledgement of our limitations as part of the created order and a reverent submission to the Creator who rules with justice and righteousness. In our daily lives, this verse challenges us to examine our attitudes towards authority, both human and divine. It invites us to ponder our personal allegiances. Do we align ourselves with the transient coalitions of human consensus or with the eternal kingdom of our Creator? This reflection is crucial, for it determines not just our earthly affiliations, but our eternal destiny. Verse 2 serves as a mirror, reflecting our own rebellious tendencies and urging us towards a better understanding of our place in God's grand design.